Okay, everybody, welcome back to MLB 23 The Show, Detroit Tiger franchise. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through the schedule. As you see, we're going to be starting year 3 against the defending World Series champions. And then we get into the month of April, Seattle, Baltimore. Those are going to be some interesting games. The Mets. The month of May, so not that challenging of a schedule to begin, at least right now on paper. Month of June, Boston's going to be a good team. Not really sure who the Yankees are going to be this year. Not sure who Philly's going to be. Tampa. The month of July with the draft and the All-Star break. The month of August, and then the final month of the regular season. So we end with San Francisco this year, which, they ended up sweeping Texas and keeping them out of the playoffs a year ago. So we'll see if we can avoid having to travel to San Francisco needing to win to get in this year. We do get Atlanta late, but yeah, let's go through our roster. We're also going to take a look at everybody else's rosters because something happened to the audio when I live streamed the off-season, and then as I was saving the game, actually crashed and corrupted my file. Now I did have a backup file saved in the off-season. I made the same moves we made in the off-season, getting Willie Adames and Brendan Rodgers, and then the minor league players as well. So right field, Austin Meadows. Nothing really changes there. Harrison Bader, Riley Green, Matt Vierling. Vierling going to be the position platoon player, being able to move around everywhere as well. Kilbadu, Kerry Carpenter. Kerry Carpenter was a monster in spring training. We're hoping that can transfer into the regular season. Willie Adames, really good spring training. IKF. Just there. Scott McDaniel, yeah, he's ready to be on the main roster. And yeah. Brendan Rodgers, Brendan Donovan. I wanted Jace Jung here. He played really well in spring training, but there's just not enough room for him right now. Hopefully his back can continue to develop like we did with Riley Green in the minor leagues. I'm not sure if he's going to be there the entire year, and if he is, we really have no choice but to put him on the roster or make room for him on the roster next year. Gary Cooper, Jess Vogel, very good, ready to be in the bigs. So there's that. Go through everything goes. So Carl Edwards, he's here. He could have made the roster as well, but we chose Lucas over him. Matt's going to be somebody we need to get on the roster soon. And then just as we continue to go down in the minor leagues. I really wanted Job and Tim Cate coming out of the bullpen, but there was just not enough room. Job was really good. He would have been a nice guy coming out of the bullpen. Really depends on what Sonny Gray does, because if Sonny Gray is stinking it out this year, he had a bad start to the year last year, turned it around in the summer, kind of fell off at the end, but really depends on Sonny Gray, even Martin Perez, on what they do. But yeah, let's go to our division rival. They won the World Series, but they lost their ace. He went to San Francisco, but they did get German Marquez coming over from Colorado. Had a solid year, so that's another pretty solid pitcher. They got Sixto Sanchez. They have a nice farm system. Relief pitching wise, it's going to be pretty nice again for Cleveland. One of the top closers in Emmanuel Clase. They're going to have 3 catchers on to begin the year, so we're going to see how that goes for him. Josh Naylor's going to be there every day, first baseman, it seems. Andres Jimenez, Jose Ramirez, and Ahmad Rosario. They do have Gurriel Jr. coming over from the D-backs. You know, he wasn't bad, kind of meh. So, just a little veteran add up to their good outfield. George was the MVP for them in the playoffs. He actually got hurt, but won't be long till he's the everyday center fielder, I would say. We go to the White Sox. We're really not sure what we're expecting from the White Sox this year. Right now they're going to carry 4 center fielders, so Garrett Hampson's now a White Sox. Jake Berger. They got Robert Fry for their relief pitcher, so won't be long till he's on the big league roster. Julian is back. They got Felix Bautista. Their bullpen's not bad. And then, yeah, I think the White Sox are going to be another up and down team again. I think they're just in a weird state of mind right now. When we look at Toronto, you know, this could be the year they really have to be in. You know, Berrios, he's on a big contract. Gossman's getting old. Manoah, pretty solid for him. Not like for life. But kind of seems like this has to be the year they make the playoffs, or they might tear it all down and rebuild it. Not really much has changed on Toronto's part. They still got Chapman over here, Bo, contract year, yeah. So we'll see what type of team Toronto is this year. Tampa Bay, second year Springer, Josh Lowe, Jose Siri, Arozarena, Franco, Isak. Really good pitching rotation. Then we go to the Yankees. Rodon seems to be their ace this year with Garrett Cole. Cortez. Stroman comes over from the Cubs. That's a move. They also got Turnbull to come over from St. Louis. LaRosen comes over from San Diego. So they got 3 kind of solid pieces in case of injury, and the Yankees do have some injuries when it comes to starting pitching wise. Their bullpen might be decent. They did sneak their way into the playoffs a year ago. Luke Voigt's going to be their everyday first baseman. Nick is going to be their everyday second baseman because Glaber is now in Colorado. They got Castro and Kemp in the minors. LeMahieu and Farmer. Then Volpe, Peraza. They're actually going to call up Trey Sweeney. So, Cabrera, Dominguez, then Judge and Stanton. They're going to let Patrick Cody be in single A. That's a terrible call, but whatever. And now we look at Boston, who tried to spend more money than the season, and they've probably gotten worse. Will Myers is going to be pretty solid for him. Miguel is going to be pretty solid for him. But they're going to really depend on their younger outfielders because they did not get Belly back in the offseason. They got Mondesi coming over from the Angels. who had a solid year. And then still got Devers, Story. Kirilloff is still here, and he hits us really well. So we're gonna see how Boston is in year 3 after they came up short against Cleveland in the ALCS. Their bullpen might be a little bit worse this year, but they still got Nola, Ohtani, Sale. They got Sale back after they traded him to Minnesota, and Minnesota let him hit the market, so he's back in Boston. So then we take a look at Baltimore. Now their bullpen could be sneaky good. I'm really hoping they call out Jackson Halliday this year, or let him be on their roster, because I think he's ready to play big league ball, and they're not gonna let him be on the day one roster. That's wow. Jordan Westburg over Halliday? Are you kidding me? Hoy Park over Halliday and Henderson? Really? Or over Halliday? Let Halliday play second. Henderson play short. Come on now. Wow. Real good young outfield. Wow, they don't let Kierstead stay on the roster. He was pretty good in the spring training. Take a look at San Francisco, what they might be this year. They got Belly in the market, so he's back in his former division. He'll be facing the Dodgers a lot this year. Gio Urshela, they got Sosa. Giants had it down a year ago. They spent big money on Shane Bieber, gave him a big money contract to become their ace. Bayou's gonna have to be in the minors, so take a look at San Diego, who came up short as well. They actually got bounced in the NLDS from the Dodgers. Catcher's gonna be a weak spot for them, but that might be their only weak spot for a while. Still a pretty good roster. They get Peterson. They play against San Francisco and the Dodgers, and they for some reason brought Winker in. Mullins is still there. Tatis Jr. Then you look at the Dodgers, you know, they don't let Henry Starr make the roster, so probably would want Starr over Gallo. Rob Green is their top shortstop, but they're going to probably let him be in the minors for at least the first half of the season. Yeah, the Dodgers are still going to be the Dodgers. Solid bullpen, solid pitching rotation. And then we take a look at Colorado. Their big signing was Pablo Lopez and Gleyber Torres. And Lopez is their new ace, so it might take another couple years to get a better rotation around him. I'm just glad Lopez ain't in the division anymore. at least for now. First baseman Michael Toglia. They chose to give Torres the bigger contract. They got him in free agency. Ryan McMahon. Javi Baez was traded along with Nick Matton over for Brendan Rodgers. They also got one of our starting pitchers, Ty Madden, and he's going to be down in AAA for them this year. And then we take a look at the rest of their roster. So, right now they got solid pieces. And then we take a look at the Arizona Diamondbacks, who had a good first half of the season, and then they kind of fell off after the trade deadline. They got Alex Verdugo. On a really good contract, and he's gonna help them a lot. Lawler's not even on the roster. Wow. Marte didn't make the starting roster. Or Westbrook didn't make it. Marte did. Of course, Marte did. Torkelson did. So Spencer Torkelson, his first full year with the Diamondbacks. They're hoping he can be a big bat for them. Their bullpen is a little weak, but their rotations is going to be really, really solid. Then we take a look at the St. Louis Cardinals. Pretty decent, nothing to brag about. Their bullpen could be okay. Walker goes to St. Louis from Arizona, so they don't even bring back Goldie. They go a complete different route, and they also bring in Brandon Belt. Derek Curtis, he's there. Walker finally gets to be in the bigs for the first time. He kind of played a little bit in the second half of the year. And Mason Wynn will actually be up there as well. First time he'll be on the roster. And then Pittsburgh. Their big signing was Juan Soto. They gave him a massive contract, not like they would do that in real life. Keith German, Kraftwerk fans. Onel Cruz is still there. Hayes. Christian Ario comes over from Boston. Pittsburgh could be a sleeper. They're getting a little bit better each year. They got Paul Sewald. Their bullpen could be very, very weak, but their rotation could be pretty solid. Take a look at Milwaukee. They lost Corbin Burns in the free agency, so that's going to hurt them a little bit. But it kind of seems like the youth movement could be getting closer and closer to Milwaukee. Turang's not even going to be on the opening roster. They choose DeYoung over him. That's odd. Then we take a look at the Reds. Von Brown makes it for some reason. Pretty young outfield. Alley's just getting a little bit better each and every year. Cam Collier. India. Bullpen could be solid. Rotation's gonna be pretty good. Take a look at the Cubs. They got Burns, so he leaves Milwaukee for Chicago for a big, massive payday. They even got Woodruff to leave Milwaukee for the Cubs. They got Snell in year one's off season. So the Cubs were year two's Angels when the game crashed, paying big money. They even got Pete Alonso. So, and they got Goldie. Well, that's just sickening. The Cubs had the money and they were not afraid to spend it. Hey, you even got Orlando Offseason. If you tell him to just be quiet or duct tape his mouth, maybe you'll win the World Series. Not in your lifetime. Not till another 100 years though. Don't worry. So the Cubs could be pretty good. Take a look at the Washington Nationals. Parker Meadows will be on the opening roster. Commodore is going to be on their bullpen after they got him from us. Philly, no, that's still not a bad roster. They got Castro in free agency for a pretty cheap contract. I hope their bullpen. They got Jesus on a contract. I think he could be a pretty solid player for them. So I think Philly could be pretty solid still. Then we take a look at the Mets. You know, they lost Alonso, so what did they do to replace him? They still got Lindor. They get Brandon Drury from the Angels for less of a contract. And they're going to carry 4 catchers. Are you out of your mind? And none of them can play anything else but catcher. Okay, Mets, you do you. Their bullpen could be meh. They did get Tyler Glasnow for a pretty good contract. Then we take a look at Miami that made their way into the playoffs. They didn't really do much in the offseason this year. I think they just, outside of getting scope from us, the Atlanta Braves. They get Ian Happ from Baltimore to come over. That's a pretty big signing. They did get Kershaw back. Then we take a look at the Texas Rangers. They get Rendon. You're gonna play Rendon over Jung? Odd. You do you, Texas. You do you. Take a look at Seattle. Jalen Davis. be Tim Anderson's second year with Seattle. Jace Peterson from the A's. Jorge Mateo in his third year with Seattle. Dude who hit the market, so let's see what type of year he has. They get Blake. Their bullpen could be okay. Joey Wentz gets to stay with them. Take a look at the Oakland A's. They got Mike Soroka from the Braves because they gave him a solid payday. So they got their ace as they continue to build up their younger rotation. And a couple vets. Their bullpen's going to be disastrous. Mike Soroka was their big signing because I'm not really seeing much here. So Soroka was just to put butts in seats. And then we take a look at the Angels. Max Muncy from the Dodgers to the Angels. Okay. Jared Walsh finally becomes the everyday first baseman again. Their starting rotation is still going to be pretty good. Take a look at Houston. Cron in his second year with them. Altuve was able to come back on a big contract. Alright. Minnesota. They got McCutcheon. Hank Chick is going to be on their day one roster. Over the guy that just won a Gold Glove for him. I mean, he's 18, he's 25, you know. They're also going to play Matt over Jake, so you do you, Minnesota. You do you. Lucas Giolito is going to be their ace. I think Minnesota could be taking a step back this year, which is good for us. Kansas City continuing to try to build. Their big signing is, well, we're going to be coming up on it. Tyler O'Neill from the St. Louis Cardinals is now a Kansas City Royal. A outstanding year, gets him a big contract from a terrible team. So, there's that. But yeah, that was everybody's rosters. As like I said, the game crashed when I went to save after the off season, so it wasn't really my fault playing the game. Anyway, year 3 will be a absolute banger of a matchup. Our Tigers, the Cleveland Guardians, the defending World Series champions.